Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Blessing, and in today's class we are going to learn how to cut and sew this female t-shirt and short pants. You can also call it knicker if you want. And the material I used 2 yards of fabric, and I first of all draft on my pattern paper before I transfer to my fabric. If you want to know how I made this dress, definitely keep on watching. So with me here, I have my French curve ruler, my marker, my straight ruler, my fabric, and that is 2 yards, and the measurements I'm working with, and I have my scissors as well. So on my pattern paper, I've drafted my lines, and I will go ahead to introduce these lines to us. I deducted 2.5 inches for my button allowance. Then I come down by 2 inches, and that will serve as my shoulder line. And from there, shoulder to my chest line, shoulder to my bust point line, shoulder to my waistline, and shoulder to my hip line. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I will divide my shoulder measurement by 2 and mark it on my shoulder line as seen. So I will take my measurement from the 2 inches I marked earlier. I will start my measurement from there. So on my chest line, I will mark the same inches that I marked my shoulder measurement there. Then after that, I will connect my lines together. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I will take my body measurement, and I will mark my bust measurement divided by 4. Then I will add my ease and my sewing allowance as well. I will do the same thing to the waist measurement. I will divide my waist measurement by 4. Then I will add my ease and my seam allowance. On my hip measurement, I will do the same thing as well. I will divide my hip measurement by 4, then plus my seam allowance. So after that, I will go ahead to connect these lines together with the help of my straight ruler. So after marking, I noticed that the waist measurement, the waist part, I have some sharp edge there. So I use my French curve to blend. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I will mark my shoulder line, my neckline. So, and that is 3 by 3 inches. Okay, so I will connect these lines together with the help of my French curve. Then I will use my straight ruler to extend my lines. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I will come down by 1 inches for my shoulder slope. Then I will connect it to meet my neckline. Now the next thing I'm going to do is that on this my shoulder line here, I will come down by 1 inches. Then after on, I will replace it at the back shoulder line. So the next thing I'm going to do is that at the hip part is straight, and I don't want that. I want it curved. So I will come up by 1.5 inches. Then for the center front, I will come in by 4 inches. Then I will use my curve ruler to connect together. So the next thing I'm going to do is that my armhole length, I'm going to look for the midpoint there. So after marking my midpoint, I will come in by 0.75 at that part, the part I marked, and then I will use my armhole curve to connect the lines together. So guys, I will go ahead to cut my pattern paper. So at the shoulder line, I will cut the new shoulder line we marked earlier. Then before I will cut my neckline, I will first of all fold the allowance that I marked first before I will cut my neckline. Then after cutting, for my down part, I will trim off that part that I have not trimmed before. So I will trim it off. Then I will open up the allowance. Then after that, I will retrim my neckline. So you can see now this is my neckline, my allowance for my button, the down part, and this is the front part is ready. So let's move to the back. So guys, this is the back part, and there is my chest line, here is my waistline, and that is my hip line. Okay, and there is my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to impute my measurement. So I will start mine from direct because the back does not have any allowance, because the front has button allowance already. So we draft our back direct from the center back. Okay, so from my waist, I will do the same thing. I will mark my waist divided by 4. Then I will add my sewing allowance plus my ease. Okay, just the way we did it at the front part. So for the hip line, I will do the same thing there as well. I will divide my hip into 4, my hip circumference into 4, and add my seam allowance. Then after that, I will connect my lines together. So guys, I will go ahead to blend the waist area. So the next thing we are going to do here is that I will mark my neck line, and that is 3 inches, but for the back I will come down by 1 inches. Then after that, I will connect my lines together. So after connecting, I will come down by 1 inches from my shoulder slope. Then I will connect it to my neckline. So guys, after that, I will look for my midpoint at my shoulder line there. So after marking my midpoint, I will connect to my chest line as seen. So guys, after that, remember we deducted 1 inches from the shoulder at the front part. So we are going to add it to the back. So we are going to add 1 inches from the shoulder upwards like that, just the way you see me doing it. That is the replacement, okay? So I will go ahead to use my straight ruler to connect these lines together. And that will be our new shoulder line. Then after that, I will use my curve ruler to blend it up. So guys, that is it, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is that the bottom part, the hip part, just the way I did at the front, I will do the same thing to the back as well. So basically the back part is ready. We can now cut our pattern paper now. So guys, here is the end of the pattern drafting, okay? I will go ahead to transfer this to my main fabric. Okay guys, I've transferred to my main fabric and I've went ahead to sew my sleeve to it, and I joined my shoulder. After to join my shoulder, I now added my sleeve. Then I now fold the sleeve part and ironed it very well. So guys, you can see the shoulder part there, okay? So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is that I will open up this shirt and mark what I have on my neckline as seen, okay? So after marking, I will use it to cut my collar. After marking, I will use it to cut my collar, and I didn't add the illustration on how to cut collar, but if you are interested to know how to cut collar, just comment on this comment section and I will make tutorial on that, okay? Okay, all right guys, this is my collar. I've cut it and I've sewn it as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I will fist it to my neck line, okay? Then what I will do is that I will place the right side to the right side of the fabric. Then I will use the other side to turn it up to the wrong side, okay? I don't know if you understand me. I will place the right side on the right side of the collar to the right side of the shirt. Then I will use the other one to turn it to the wrong side and to stitch, okay? Before I will do that, I will first of all notch my middle for me not to be confused, okay? All right guys, that is that. So I will go ahead to my machine and I will sew this up and I will come back to show you guys. Okay guys, I've joined it and I've stitched just the way I explained to you guys, and you can see how neat it is. After sewing, I press it with a hot iron and you can see the inside and the outside as well, okay? So guys, the next thing I'm going to do, I will determine how the difference where my button will be, okay? So that is it for the top area. I will move over to the short part. So guys, that is it. Okay, so guys, I have a fresh paper and I will go ahead to draw a static point as seen. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is that I will mark my crush line. And how to get a perfect crush line is you will sit on a flat surface and place your tape on where you normally wear your skirt or your trousers, and you will mark it to where the flat surface is. Okay, that will give you your crush line. Also, you can still divide your hip measurement into 4, then that will also be your crush line. Any of these two is perfect. Okay, so after marking my crush line, I will go ahead to mark the length of this short, and the length I deducted 1.5 inches from it for my band. Then I will now mark my 17 inches. Okay, so guys, and I deducted 1.5 inches, remember. So I added 2 inches to it for my hemming allowance. Okay, so after marking, I will go ahead to rule all these lines up with my ruler. So guys, you remember this is a female shirt. Okay, what I'm going to do is that at the waist part, I will come in by one inch. I will mark 1 inch there. Then I will move over to the hem part and mark 1.5 inches, which is 1.5 inches. So guys, at the crotch area, I will come up by 2 inches, and that will be my hip line. So guys, I will go ahead to use my straight ruler to rule these lines up. So after that, I will go ahead to connect the line from the waist area to meet my hip line. Then I will extend it to the 1.5 I marked on the down part. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do here is that on my waistline, I will go ahead to divide my waist measurement by 4. Then I will add 1 inch seam allowance for my darts. So I will move over to my waist area. So guys, I will move over to my hip line and divide my hip measurement by 4. Then I will add 2 inches seam allowance to it. Note that it is only the waist and the hip measurement that you will divide by 4. The thigh and the lap, you will divide it by 2, okay? So on my thigh line, on my cross line, I will mark my thigh measurement there. I will divide it by 2. Then I will add 1 inches seam allowance because I don't want my flap to too long. I don't want the curve too long because by the time I finish sewing it and I put it on, I want it to be, because I want it to look perfect on me. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I will first of all take my French curve to connect from my hip to the thigh line, okay? Then from the hip to the waist line as seen. So after that, I will use a straight ruler to connect from the thigh line, which is a cross line there, to meet the hem part. And you can see that the curve there is not that long. So after doing this, you will find out that the crotch area, after sewing your shorts, you will find out that the crotch area is well balanced, okay? So guys, you see this part that I marked, we will not use it anymore, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is that I will mark my darts, okay? So I will come in by 5 inch, then I will extend my dart leg to 4 inches, but you can still use stereo. It's just my own choice, okay? I just wanted it to be 4, so I will add 4 inches to my dart leg. Then I will connect with a straight ruler as seen. Then after that, I will come in by 0.5 inches on both sides. Then I extend it to the dart leg. So guys, basically the front pattern is ready. You can now go ahead to cut it out. So guys, this is the final look at the front part and the hemi part. You can see that by the time I fold it up, it will look very okay, okay? So the next thing is that we go to the back, okay? So guys, the first thing I've placed my front pattern to a fresh pattern paper. So guys, the first thing I'm going to do here is that for the waist area, I will come down by 1/2 inch because the front area is low, okay? So for us to achieve that, I will come down by 1/2 inch. Then I will connect to the waist area. So guys, after that, I will extend my line to the back because the back is higher because of our bum. So from the new line I took, I will mark 2 inches from that very line we marked earlier. So I will place my 2 inches there. So guys, from that part there, I will come on by 2 inches. Then after coming up by 2 inches, I will add 2 inches seam allowance to it. So guys, at the crotch area, I will add 2 inches seam allowance as well. So at the hem part, I will come in by 1.5 inches seam allowance. So I will, for the side here, I will connect to meet my, I will connect it to the waist area as seen. So after that, I will I will connect with my curve ruler. So after that, I will use a straight ruler to connect to the end part. Yeah. So the next thing is that I will extend my darts to the back. So after that, I will connect my sides. I will trace out the side of the front to the back. You can see. So I will now remove the front parts. I will extend the dart at the back. Basically, the back is ready, so we cannot cut our pattern paper. So guys, you can see the front and the back parts. You can see that the back part is wider or bigger than the front. The reason why is because we have a big bum at the back, and with this it can accommodate the back area very well. Okay, you can see the crotch area not too that long. It will look perfect on me after making the shot. Okay, so guys, I will go ahead to transfer this to my main fabric. So guys, I've transferred this to my main fabric, and I've went ahead to sew my darts at the back. You can see that, and after sewing it, I ironed it with hot iron. So the next thing I'm going to do here is that I will place the front, the right side meeting the right side of the front. Then I will go ahead to sew the crotch area. I'm not putting zip on this particular short because it's a stretch fabric. You can still put zip if you want to. Okay, so guys, I've joined this crotch together. I've joined both the back and the front, and I open it up and ironed it very well. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I will take the front and the back, right side also meeting right side. Then I will join the side by 1 inches. So guys, I've joined the side together with 1 inches. Then I've hemmed the down part as well, and I gave it a good press. You can see, that I use 1 inches to sew it to close the side. Okay, you can see it. So you can see that, and I've joined the side, the down part. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is that the crotch area, I will merge it together. Then I will now, on the lap area, I will mark my measurement there to have a accurate measurement. So I will place it flat like this. I will lay it flat like this. Then I will measure my measurement there. My measurement is 9.5 inches. Then I will mark it with a chalk. So I will do the same thing to the crotch area, so that after sewing up, it will match, aligned well. Okay, so I will go to my sewing machine now and sew this together. So guys, I've joined it together. You can see I place it very well, and I joined it together. You can see the side, you can see the how neat it is. You can see I open it up and iron very well. So the next thing I'm going to do here is that I will take my tape and I will measure what I have on my waist to cut my band. So guys, here is my belt, and I cut 2 inches by 35 inches. Okay, and that is my waist measurement. I added 1 inches for my seam allowance. Okay, so I will go ahead to iron and place. I will iron half an inch on one side. Okay, so I will use it to fix to the band. So guys, I've sewn it, and I place the band right side to the wrong side of the short. Then after that, I will turn the band to the right side and turn stitch on the right side of the short. So guys, I've done that and I ironed it very well. You can see how neat it is, both the outside and the inside. So guys, if you find this helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. Turn on the notification bell down below to see more of my video. Thanks for watching. Bye. See you in my next video.